I'm Lizzy.
And I'm Izzy, and we need help.
Each week we stumble through a new book, method, or concept that brings us one step closer to being our best self.
Yes, we make fun of ourselves,
And others.
but mostly just ourselves. So here's to not taking self-help quite so seriously.
Welcome to We Need Help. I'm Lizzy.
And I'm Izzy, and today we're going to be freaking selfish.
We're gonna talk about the benefits of actually being selfish. And I would like to wish everyone a wonderful 2025.
Yeah, happy 2025. You're just being selfish this year.
Yeah, here's to doing you. But first, let's get caught up. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm moving on with a new chapter in my life. So, yeah.
Is it something you want to share, or do you want to?
I will leave it until February, I think, to share. Yeah.
Okay. You got some big changes happening in your life, right?
Yeah, huge.
Yeah, I can't
Huge.
wait to share them with everybody, and I can't wait to go through them with you. It's a big growth
Yeah.
period, and
Yeah.
I think we can glom onto our girlfriend's growth periods, can't we?
Yeah, I think
That's
so.
a
Yeah.
thing.
Live
Okay.
vicariously, glom
I'm
on.
going to glom onto your growth. I'm going to
Yeah.
glom onto your growth. That's what I'm going to do.
Love that.
Well, I have some changes happening in my life. They're not nearly as exciting as yours. Well, maybe not on paper, but I gave up seed oils.
Wow. How hard was it
Yeah,
to give up seed oils?
it's super hard. Like you
Okay.
would not believe how much sunflower and safflower and vegetable and canola, it's in everything. So, but the cool part about it is since I moved to Florida, I had put on like this, like 6 or 7 pounds that just
Hmm.
wouldn't go away.
Yeah.
And, it didn't matter what I was doing. And, I just fell off when I gave up the seed oils because it's been about a
Wow.
month. Yeah. It's like I haven't done anything differently.
So how do you do that? Like, do you just check the ingredients and if it has a seed oil, you're done? Like, and
It's, it's no. And, so a couple of months ago, I think we even talked about on the podcast, we gave up, like Scarlett went nuts and said, okay, no more dyes and no more seed oils, no more chemicals in any of our food, no maltodextrin, no nothing.
yeah.
So we cleaned out our pantry and everything. And it it was in everything. Like you just wouldn't believe how much it is in everything. So the nice part about it is we've been able to find things that it's not in,
Yeah.
So
Anything like surprising, like, oh, I didn't know seed oil was in that. Like anything that's like kind of surprised you?
well, and I want to preface it by saying like we do um, coconut oil, olive oil, butter, and tallow is what we're
Okay.
still eating. So um we've been able to find alternatives. Like chips are impossible to find them unless you're really looking for them with avocado oil or tallow or something like that. And they're a lot more expensive. So we've just been
Yeah.
eating a lot less chips,
Yeah.
and for people that's their one thing, that's their specialty item. That's what they go to if they're stressed or if they're going to start their period or something. There are chips with tallow and chips with avocado oil or olive oil, and they're as good if not better. So you're not really giving anything up
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
um and then all candies, we've like I'm not a sweets eater, but Scarlett's given up all candies that
Okay.
have them, and there are stuff with alternatives. And um there was an ice cream, it's called, I want them to actually sponsor our show, so I'm just going to put this
Okay.
out there. It's called Ice Cream for Bears.
Oh.
Hmm. It is sweetened only with honey,
Oh.
and it is delicious.
Oh, that's
Ice
interesting.
cream for bears, and I
I
really
love
want
it.
them. I really want them to sponsor us. So there, I'm going to put that out there.
Okay.
Um, and they have 4 ingredients. Like we're talking like milk and
Mm.
uh I mean, just nothing. They have, it's
Whatever.
very,
Yeah.
very, very, very
Milk and
streamlined.
honey and cold.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what else. Like it's really delicious. Oh, and cocoa if it's chocolate or
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
or cacao or whatever. So, but anyway, we're getting our garden going. That's on the forefront. And so a
I
huge
love that.
garden. I know
Yeah.
I'm super excited to get my hands in the earth. Um, and then, just total privileged. Like I redid my mass or my guest bedroom. So if you end up coming here in February,
I'm
it's got a
coming.
beautiful
So
room. You've got a beautiful room to stay in.
Oh,
Yeah, so I'm excited about that.
yeah.
But yeah, I can't wait to tell everyone about your changes, but I know that right
Yeah.
now you're in a really pivotal point, so we have
Yeah.
to wait.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's okay. That's okay. Let's talk about anything else you want to talk about. How was your Christmas? How was your New
It
Year's?
was chill. It was really, really chill. But we all got like everybody, the whole family got sick. So we
Mhm.
were like going through that. Um, so sick that the paramedics were called. And then they like were yelling at me because they're like, don't call the paramedics unless you're dying because you're taking somebody's spot away who could be dying, which makes total sense. But to be fair, I literally felt like I was dying. Like I'm a
Okay.
toughie. Like I don't get hysterical when I get sick, but I had a migraine that lasted for 48 hours. I never had a migraine
Oh,
last that long. And then no matter what I was taking, it wasn't going away. And then I couldn't stop throwing up. And so I felt like I was going to have a heart attack. Like I felt like I was so dehydrated that I was like, that my heart was just going to stop. So,
yeah. We had the norovirus over the holiday, and it was the same thing. I've never ever vomited so violently. Aren't you guys glad you're listening to this right now? And it just hit the whole family. It just ran
yeah.
right through us all, and
Yeah.
it was fucking violent. So I hope everyone is uh out of those woods. I hope we are at least.
Yeah, I'm actually I was a bit relieved that I almost got it because then like February is going to be I'm not going to be sick. Like it's just going to be like I got it all out of the way. So that's how I like to look at it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so let's talk about why we're doing uh we need to be selfish sometimes. Why are we doing this?
I can tell you why I'm doing it because I didn't even realize how much I've been neglecting myself until I sort of did like an end of the year review. And I just realized like I give myself away constantly. My energy, my dreams, like things that I like to do, I just constantly put it on the back shelf. Everything else comes first.
I
And
think that there are so many women, especially, and men, but that this is a chronic issue.
yeah,
And it's actually not eh, like martyrism is over.
it's over. It's yeah.
It's so 2024.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the worst thing that I felt at the end of last year, I felt apathetic. That I was like trying to think of a word to describe how I felt. Zero motivation, zero like drive to do anything because I had just resigned from everything that was bringing me joy and pleasure and, a big part of that, for years I had been doing it and I didn't even realize that I had been doing it, so
Yeah.
I just thought I gotta get back to being a little bit selfish. And it's so interesting what happens when you make that decision. You feel like guilt. I don't know about you, but I felt like guilty automatically because selfish is generally like people regard it as something bad, like don't be
Yeah.
selfish. You hear that your whole life, right?
But you're supposed to mind your own business. So I don't even know what to do anymore. I like it.
Yeah.
It's like a version of minding your own business, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm like, I decided to reach for a book, so I got this book. It's called Selfish is the New Sexy. by Ashima Tamika. It's a short one. It's like 3 hours long on Audible, which is like my criteria. Like I can do that.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because there's like literally no information about Ashima in the internet. I was like trying to find something. The only thing I know about her is that she's the author of this book, Selfish is the New Sexy. And she is just sharing her experience. I don't think she's a doctor. She might be some type of coach, but she is just sharing her experience. And from the very first chapter, when she started sharing about how she was feeling, I just couldn't stop crying because I was like, this is how I've been feeling. And I didn't even realize I was feeling this way. I was just pushing everything like away and not realizing how important it was. So yeah, it was a powerful one for me.
Well, why don't you kind of share with us what those things are? Because I think that so many times, not only do we accidentally fall into a place where we're giving more than we're getting, but also we don't know how to recognize that within the people that we love. Because I didn't know you were feeling like that.
I didn't know I was feeling like that. And
What
I
are the
that's why this book was so powerful for me, because I didn't realize I was feeling like that until she started talking about it. She started talking about her own struggles with, like, she was depressed. She was apathetic. She was depressed and she didn't even know it because she was covering it up by a smile. And
Mhm.
and she had these moments where she realized it, but then she had to look at it. And I think that's, I've been refusing to look at it. And I've just
Well, what was one of the first things you gave up? Like up
I
on,
think
like that you just, what are the
uh,
one of the,
a lot of
can
it,
you,
to be honest, was like the time and effort I put into this podcast, because it's something I love doing. I
right.
would say it's like a passion,
Mhm.
and other things started becoming more important. Other
Right. It's just
people.
easier. It's easier to give up
Yeah,
something that only affects us
yeah,
than it is something that's going to affect, a bottom line of a company or whatever it is.
exactly. So
Okay.
I started putting work first. I started putting relationship stuff first. I started putting just other
So
life.
the hobbies take a back seat.
Yeah,
The
take a back seat.
passion projects take a back seat.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that was one. Another one, which was huge, was pleasure, sex, sensuality, feeling myself,
Mm,
being in my feminine energy. That took a total backseat. I just shut that part off. I put it in a box, put it away,
yeah.
and didn't
Well,
think about it.
we deny ourselves all the time because you don't want to face the fact that to get yours, you might have to hurt somebody's feelings.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the truth of it. Like you could be like, oh my God, I have not had an orgasm in the space of another in a
Yeah.
long time, or I haven't gotten what I want, or whatever it is. And to do that, you have to have such vulnerability and scarce,
Yeah.
like you could move into their insecurities and stuff like that. And where I think women especially are such we're so delicate with people's feelings, especially like
Yeah.
in those categories, that we don't get ours
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. And that was just I didn't even fight for it. I just resigned. Like, okay, that's fine. And it's not fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not
Um,
fine.
yeah. And other
It's
things just
that
like,
that's you guys, that's not fine.
yeah.
It's so heartbreaking when you don't get God, being in on earth and in this body is sometimes it's just so hard. But we get these little perks like orgasms and like the feeling of somebody's hand on yours and a kiss or a
Somebody
hug or
desiring you.
somebody looking at you and thinking, "Oh my God, like they want me." Like these
Yeah.
things are these little perks in life that
Yeah.
make it worth living in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what
So
else?
I think those were the big ones, but those are important.
Were you eating what you wanted to eat? Were you
You
going
know
to the
what?
places you wanted to
My
go?
eating over the last few months has been great. So
Okay.
that has been good. Sport. I mean, I used to love to play tennis and do like
Hmm.
stuff. Just hadn't done that anymore. Like
Okay.
just, taking care of myself, like really
Right.
like connecting with my body. That was a big one. That
Yeah.
just, all that just got put on the shelf, forgotten about,
Yeah.
locked up. And I was just kind of going through the motions on a daily basis. You know, and I started feeling apathetic. Like I couldn't get motivated, and started
Yeah.
affecting every aspect of my life.
I can feel that. So what did she say to do? What did she?
So her chapters, I mean, it's really about making a decision. So what I liked about this book is it put a new spin on being selfish. And I think the thing that I got out of this book and that I want to share with everybody is being selfish doesn't mean you're taking anything away from anyone else. So just because
Mm,
you're selfish and taking care of yourself and loving yourself and putting yourself first does not mean you're taking something away from somebody else.
right.
And I really had to connect with that and really loved that because it doesn't mean you're hurting another person. Like the
Right.
two can coexist. You can be selfish and extremely giving.
Right. Well, in
And
fact, you have to be to
yeah,
really utilize all your gifts. You have to fill before you can pour.
exactly. And she said, the more you fill, the more you can pour. So,
Yeah.
but you have to take care of yourself first. And she said, like, you can start, you can't be generous if you're not generous to yourself. And it's that
Right.
whole, RuPaul always says it like, if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love anybody else? And it's that thing, right?
Oh,
Like, take care of
I thought
yourself.
it was if you can't love yourself, how can anybody else love you?
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds a little self-loathing, I guess.
Yeah. So
That's funny.
the book is a lot of, it's just her personal story of like how she just made that decision, and
Oh,
it is
to
just a
be
decision.
selfish.
Yeah.
She
And
just said, okay, one day I'm going to be,
yeah,
that's it.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. She just
Have
said
you
she was gonna
decided to
start
do
putting
that?
herself first.
Have you decided to do that?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. What does that look like?
Well, number one, it looks like I'm going to start doing the things that I want to do and not doing the things that other people expect of me or want me to do.
That means
Right.
saying no to people. That's
Saying no to
scary.
people. Yeah. Which is
Yeah.
scary. And I'm gonna there she had a huge chapter on guilt. I'm
Okay,
gonna,
let's talk about it.
yeah, because she said, people feel guilty when they're selfish. They feel guilty when they're not giving somebody else first. Like you should feed other people first before you feed
I
yourself.
recently had to tell a family member, no, I couldn't help with something
Yeah.
in the depth, like as deep as they wanted me to help with. And the family member got really pissed
Mm,
and stormed out. And it like that's the hardest thing for me to
yeah.
because I love helping and I love being the savior. I've got that savior
Yeah.
complex.
Yeah.
And it was so hard. And since then, I've been feeling such guilt about it, even though even to want it from me is entitlement on a level, like the amount of help that they were wanting.
Yeah.
But I've been feeling so bad about it. And I am right there with you that like, and by the way, it's the guilt is so not, I shouldn't have it. It's not mine to have. Like I don't have any part in it to like it's not any part of my fault. But I am so I think the culture of my family is so guilt-ridden anyway. It's a problem, you
Same. You
know.
have these things called the shoulds. You should
Yeah.
do this and you should do, I don't know if your family does, but my family does.
Oh, yes. We've shit ourselves like we've shit our pants. Yeah. We are shitting all over the place in our family.
Same. Like children they should take care of their parents. They should do this. They should do that. It's
Yeah. They should honor thy mother and father, regardless of how they're being
Yeah.
treated.
Yeah.
Like it, like that's it, so it, and you know, I'm reading a book too that we're going to talk about next time that has helped me a lot with that. But I'm right there with you with the guilt.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's just about reframing it in your mind, like just letting go of that guilt. Because is it serving any purpose, this guilt? And in saying no to yourself, but yes to everybody else, are you happy and is everybody else happy? No, nobody is happy. So at least if I'm not happy and they're not happy, at least I want to be happy. Do you know what I'm saying?
At least save one of us.
At least one half of the equation is going to be happy, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. So she talked a lot about mindset, a lot about letting go of the guilt, excuses that we make. And I think this is a big one for me. I had to look at this like, oh, I can't do the podcast this week because it's a busy week at work.
Yeah.
Like we all make those excuses, or I got to do this week. Sometimes those excuses are valid, but I just realized like they were coming up an awful lot, right?
Well, I think that once we kind of grab hold of the balls of our own decisions in the
Yeah.
way that, no, I don't want to do it as much as I want to do something else.
Yes. Yeah.
And and that's kind of like where we as women need to kind of put our heels down and say, okay, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
No, like, and taking responsibility for it rather than being the victim of this life that we've created.
Yeah. And yeah, that. And then I'm another little thing I'm doing is if I feel like doing something, I'm going to do it and I'm going to stop denying myself doing it. So I wanted Saturday night seafood. I just wanted it. I was craving it. And I was out with some friends and they're like, well, we don't really want it. And I was like, they're like, it's too expensive. And I just said, you know what? I feel like it, so I'm gonna go get it. And normally I would have caved
And
and
gone to their ramen noodle place.
yeah, but I'm like, no, no, no. I went and I sat and I ordered exactly what I wanted and it was expensive and I loved it and I felt so empowered that I made that decision that I didn't
I'm
cave.
really proud of you because you never do stuff like that.
Yeah. And
You're
I'm like,
just so easygoing and
yeah,
so catering. And
accommodating. Yeah.
yes, you're so accommodating. And it makes me nervous because I know you'll always do whatever you want. And I feel like sometimes you need people around you that are going to say, actually, Izza loves a great steak. Like she loves a beautiful steakhouse. You know what I mean? Like, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy for you that you did that. And I think we
Yeah.
all should do that.
Yeah. Just like, what do you feel like and going for it and not feeling guilty about it? You know?
Do you think
Whatever.
some of us get to the point where we can't even say what we feel like anymore because we've just lost all
Yeah.
will to like actually feel life?
Yeah. And she talked about that. And I think she got to this place where she didn't even realize she was depressed. Because she had buried everything so deep, she didn't realize it. And I think I wouldn't say I'm depressed, but I was definitely felt like a strong sense of apathy for a lot of stuff. And I was like, I just have to look at it. I have to look at it. Like I cannot deny myself certain things.
Well, we're in our 40s, and
Yeah.
I'm wondering if I'm the only one that feels like this. Like sometimes if I'm not caring for myself, I just think my life is over. So I'll
Yeah.
just be like, I guess this is good enough.
Yeah.
Like it's just like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I mean, I guess I'm just not going to have any fun anymore because you know, I don't know. Like, and then I'll get my shit together and realize that I'm
Yeah.
not the victim of the life I've created, but and then I'll take hold. But like, you can get to the point where you're just like, meh, all right, I'll just go with the flow.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And
yeah,
then
I think just
then we
little,
have to realize who the hell we are.
yeah.
We aren't made to go with the flow.
No,
We are the fucking flow.
we control the flow.
We are the flow.
We are the flow. We are the flow.
We are the bitches. We are
We
the
are the
ones.
cons. To make it right.
So let's start living. It's a choice we're making. Okay, I'd like to apologize.
Broad stroke apology for anyone that had to sit through the 15 seconds of you singing.
Yeah, there's like, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I think it was a short book, but it really kind of shifted something in me. And I think it's not always about making the huge choices. For me, it's going to be, but I think it's about the little things as well that we deny ourselves.
Well, I think the little things are what you kind of start out on. Like, okay, no, I don't want that. Or no, thank you. That's okay. I'm not like, if I get an invite now to go somewhere I just don't want to go.
Yeah.
I no longer say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm busy that night. I'm no thank you.
Yeah.
I'm no thank you all day long. Like, I just don't want to pussyfoot around that I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But just not being the victim.
Yeah.
It's a victim mindset.
Yeah.
It's shifting.
Yeah. And reframing what it means to be selfish, that it doesn't have to be such a negative thing. It doesn't mean, and that was big for me. Like, just because you're being selfish in a situation, like a healthy selfish, doesn't mean you're taking away something from somebody else. Like they have a right to everything, right? It doesn't mean you're removing something from them. It's not actually being selfish, taking care of yourself. So
yeah, I agree. I think that once we kind of reframe that word, a little bit, or, even not use it, like just you're taking care of yourself. It's not rocket science.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful. I'm super glad. And I know that these, coming out of Christmas, a lot of people are feeling empty, and we need to like really start this year with caring for number one. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and whomever else we have can be supported as well.
Yeah. Amen. And I recommend this book just to get everyone sort of like create that spark, and that's what it did for me. It just like sparked me into action. So it's Ashima Tamika, Selfish is the New Sexy.
I love it. Well,
Too.
that's wonderful. And Happy New Year. And I'll see you next Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Bow, 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 bow. Thank you so much for joining us this week on We Need Help, the podcast.
Make sure to like, subscribe, like again, our YouTube channel, our Instagram, follow us wherever you can. It really, really helps us out and ensures that you won't miss any future episodes. So, yep, thanks to you, we can keep going.
We'll see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.